I'm looking at TikTok and YouTube and all of these platforms, and I'm seeing, the woke progressive liberals screaming in agony because Donald Trump won this election. You just can't argue with the vast majority of this country that voted him in. You are no longer able to say you're a majority, and that was debatable. We won't get into it back then. You are no longer able to say that. So why is your opinion, why does it validate you screaming at people and telling people fuck you and telling people that we're the devil and that we're gonna rot and all these things? Welcome to Stay in the Gray podcast. We explore news that gets people talking by blending comedy and controversy.
Little man, feel smart. Shadow streets love hard.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Trey. Together we dive into tough topics with a combination of humor and some insight.
So join us as we navigate the gray areas of the world and engaging in real conversation.
Come get to know us.
Hey everybody. Ryan here by himself. Trey is not feeling well, so he has taken the night off to relax and rest. And when he does this, it makes me realize how much I miss him. It makes me realize how much he adds to the show. And it makes me realize that I'm lucky to have him as a part of Stay in the Gray podcast, which is why I put up a nice picture of us on the screensaver here. I'm going to do a quick show. I say quick, we'll see what happens. But I didn't want to get out of rhythm because I want you guys to continue to think about the things we've been saying. And I want you to see the backlash of the election and some of the things that have gone on with us personally. Trey wasn't real comfortable with the election just in general because everybody was so spiteful, and including myself. I didn't do very well when it came to social media. I got very feisty on election night, and I think it shows a little bit of passion, but a little bit of immaturity on my part. So I apologize if anybody out there was offended by anything I said, but we're all passionate, and the people that are on Twitter, they're either paid pundits or they're passionate like myself. And it was a big election, and we needed it, in my opinion, to go the way that it did. And the country has spoken. Popular vote for the first time for the Republican side, and there is no debating who won this thing. And so it's not about gloating. It's not about anything like that. It's simply, when it comes to policy and when it comes to the direction this country is going in, 70% of the people said it was going in the wrong direction. So guess what? You're seeing what happened, which is pretty solid victory for Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. So I'll move on from that. I want to talk a little bit about this whole my body, my choice movement that women have going, and men as well. I'm getting a lot of pushback from this. How dare you? I'm getting called all sorts of things. You don't care about women. And it's very insulting because I very much care about the women in my life, my wife, my mother, my sister, her daughter, which is my niece. I very much care about the women in my life, but it's not all about this social issue of abortion that was pushed to the states. It's about protecting our borders. It's about protecting economic policy. For World War III, let's not continue these wars. All of these other things that I believe Donald Trump will bring are things that protect women. It's not just about my body, my choice. Was it my body, my choice? The same people are saying, you better get the vaccine for COVID or else you're a piece of shit. That wasn't my body, my choice. That was, you better do this. And so I find it ironic and hypocritical. And anybody that knows me knows that I despise hypocrisy. And if you're going to tell me that I've got to get a vaccine, and then somebody else comes around and says, hey, but you know what, late-term abortions, not so much, you're contradicting yourself. And the point is that both of those issues need to be something that we talk about. and we research and we discuss and we figure out the best solution. It's not always one side or the other, as Trey and I have talked about many times. And it's one of the things that Trey and I, we see a lot of eye to eye on it, but we also, disagree a little bit, and that's okay. Trey and I have disagreed on some things, and I think Trey sees the passion that I have and kind of shies away from it a little bit. He still never told us who he was voting for or if he was going to vote, if he got even registered in time to vote. But I respect that man and the fact that he wanted to wait, and he admitted that he's not into politics as much, and he's just gonna listen and learn. And that's what he did. And if I went overboard with my passion, then I apologize to him first and foremost. When I go on social media, a lot of times it's me, and it doesn't represent both of us. And I just want to make sure that's clear. A lot of times it's me spouting off. I don't like these paid pundits on the left that just admittedly they get me. They reel me in, and I can't stay away from it. And Trey calls me out quite a bit, and he should. And he says, you need to just let it go. Tell him to like and subscribe, which I will. I'll tell everybody, like, follow, subscribe, comment, all those things. But I just don't think it's fair to sit here and tell me that I don't care about women because I voted for Donald Trump. It's inaccurate. The abortion situation, Roe v. Wade, was handed to the states by the Supreme Court. It could not be reversed by Kamala Harris by herself. She would have needed the Supreme Court to reverse it. That wasn't going to happen. So I don't know what they were running on. I don't know why they thought this issue would be something that would win votes. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have both come out and said they would veto any national federal abortion ban. And I agree with that 100%. I think that if you have an issue with your state's laws, then it's time to go to the state level with the legislature. I will say right now that I do not support having to take a stillborn, basically a dead fetus, to term. I think that's ridiculous, and it's not an abortion, and I think that needs to be separated. I'm a very, very much a case-by-case guy when it comes to this topic. And rape, incest, we've talked about it many times, but it's state issue, and it's something that I think is being blown way out of proportion. I posted something on our social media, so go check it out. And it's an actual Senate meeting of this gentleman, and I believe he was a senator. He's saying, hey, look, confirm this for me. And he was going by case on these issues with stillborns and medical care for women. And the woman in charge, forgive me for not knowing her name, was like, no, this isn't a law. No, this isn't a law. No, there are no laws like this. And yet we've been told that they are. And I want everybody to take a deep breath and understand that if that's your main issue, and that's why you're so upset, and why this is such a dark day for so many, a dark week for so many of you that did not vote for Donald Trump because of women's rights, you need to take a step back and learn. Listen to people. Listen to the Senate. Listen to what the laws actually are, and it's not as bad as what you think. I do not agree with an abortion ban. What I do agree with are all the other 27 things that Donald Trump's going to do that will protect women in other ways. So just think about that and move on, and we'll go from there. But to sit here and tell me that I don't care about women because I voted for Donald Trump is absurd. And I would love for you to comment and let me know that on our social media, because I will argue that with you all day long. Let's talk quickly the aftermath. Donald Trump called Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, who's been getting a free ticket from the current administration. Excuse me, I'll take a sip of scotch on that note. And he said, guess what? You need to end this war right now. I'm going to tell the same thing to Vladimir Putin. And guess who was on the phone call with him? Elon. Elon Musk was on the call. And I like this. I think that Elon is an innovator. And I think he's one of the smartest men in the world. He's one of the richest men in the world. and he has impact. But I'm not quite sure why he got on that call. I'm okay with it, though. So Zelensky's frustrated. He said, this isn't something that can end in a day, this war. Well, of course he doesn't want it to end in a day because he's getting hundreds of billions of dollars from this administration, and his gravy train is over. Donald Trump is going to tell him, I'm sorry, you're not getting any more aid. Stop the war. He'll tell Vladimir Putin, stop the war. This is absurd, or you're going to get tariffs. We will control your natural gas supply, which is something that Russia is trying to do with Europe and NATO and the whole deal. I'm telling you, Donald Trump is 3 days removed from being a president-elect, and already these things are going in motion. And to sit here and say he didn't get it done in a day, give me a break. He's not even in office yet, and people are talking already, which hasn't happened in how long? Since the war started. There's been rumors of the Hamas leader coming out and saying, okay, well, let's do the peace treaty. That's been a little bit debunked. He says, well, there's going to need to be some more work done and a little bit of lack. He wants the United States to quit supporting Israel 100%. And, there's a way to probably work with that. But I'm telling you, people, give the man an opportunity and these wars will be over. That's one of the most important things on his list. Why would we want war? It makes no sense. Zelensky wants a lot of money. He's got villas. He's got cars. He's got all these things. Of course he wants this war to keep going. Vladimir Putin is an asshole. He wants the war to keep going because NATO set up missile launchers there in Ukraine and basically is viewed as a threat. I wouldn't be comfortable either. So what I do know is that Donald Trump will have more of a chance to end it than Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. And let's see what happens. But I just thought it was interesting that Zelensky was already kind of saying, well, it's not going to be as quickly as you guys think it's going to be. Well, he doesn't want it to be that way because he's getting lots of money. And that is stopped. All you have to do is look at him and go, you ain't getting any more money. And that war will end. Stocks are already up. I've got my notes here. It's just not a bad thing. I'm looking at all of these posts, these Facebook messages. I've got friends across the pond over in Scotland that are. I hope all of my American friends are okay. But yeah, we're just fine. We've heavily, if that's the right word. I mean, there wasn't a question about who we voted for as American people. And if you want to sit across the sea and talk about America and how could you possibly vote Donald Trump in, it's probably because you're not familiar with American politics and you don't live here. And that's fine. Ask us and we'll talk about it. I'll talk to anybody about it. There are more people overseas that support Donald Trump than you think. I lived there in the UK, and I know I've had people come up to me and say, man, I wish we had a leader like that. And I'm shocked when I hear that. I'm like, I thought everybody hated him. And they're like, no, that's just the media. So, and what does everybody think about Elon claiming he's going to take over CNN and one media outlet at a time? We're going to get through this fake news stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I love Elon, but let's just slow it down, boys, and go from there. But the biggest thing tonight, and then I'll wrap it up. I'm not going to make this a long episode. I hope you guys enjoy some of the things that are said. I think it's good to talk, and even though Trey's not here, and even though it's just me tonight, I think that it's enough maybe to get you thinking. And you're more than welcome, like I said, on any of our posts to comment and to tell me what you think. I mean, try and be civil. I mean, if you're not, you'll make butthurt comment of the week for the next show. But if you are, I mean, I'd love to talk and discuss these issues. I just don't understand this hatred. I don't understand why I'm looking at TikTok and YouTube and all of these platforms and I'm seeing the woke progressive liberals screaming in agony because Donald Trump won this election. You just can't argue with the vast majority of this country that voted him in. You are no longer able to say you're a majority, and that was debatable. We won't get into it back then. You are no longer able to say that. So why is your opinion, why does it validate you screaming at people and telling people fuck you and telling people that we're the devil and that we're gonna rot and all these things? Who do you think you are? And that it bugs me. The fact that I've been called a racist, a sexist, fascist, what's the other one? Nazis. All these labels, and people just don't understand how dangerous that is when you've got people, if a couple people on, TikTok say it, who gives a shit? But if you've got leaders of our country, politicians saying that have an actual impact, all of a sudden people start believing it, and it becomes this huge false rhetoric and this narrative that causes people to do crazy things like try and kill Donald Trump. And there's some of you sick fucks out there that think that would be good, and that we're upset that the shooter missed. And you guys are fucking disgusting. And to wish death on somebody, you need to look in the mirror and reassess your priorities. So to me, I'm tired of being called these things. I'm not these things. If you look up the word fascist, look at the other side. They're the ones that have been using fascist tactics. If you want to sit here and talk about Nazis, you're really comparing Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler? Are you really doing that? It's disgusting. It's despicable. So look up what Adolf Hitler did and look up what Donald Trump's policies are, and I guarantee you'll reassess. But instead, you're listening to MSNBC and some of those crazy fucks. CNN's gotten a little better, but MSNBC is whacked out, and some of these celebrities, and give me a break. To compare Donald Trump to Adolf Hitler is dangerous, and it's caused a mindset in this country that is forced people to start literally spitting at others and spewing on these videos, and just like the world is ending, like it's a dystopia. Well, the majority of the country feels like this is a utopia. So you need to move on. You told us to move on back in 2020, and even though there was a lot more shady shit going on back then, and we had to move on. And we watched what happened, and we watched the economy suck. We watched inflation rise. We watched gas and all those prices. We watched the immigration, all the things you've heard Donald and everybody say. The foreign affairs were getting bent over financially. All our money is going to foreign countries. And that's all going to end. And those are good things, people. Mass deportation of illegal immigrants. Donald Trump hates immigrants. No, he doesn't. He's married to one, but she's legal. JD Vance is married to an immigrant, but she's legal. You've got to do it the right way. I've got some friends of mine. They know who they are. They're friends of the show. They do a lot on the show. One of them was denied his program to come over here and do continuing education because he didn't qualify. He didn't make it. There were too many or whatever. He's doing it the right way. And here there are 30 million illegals here who are doing it the wrong way. And I have a problem with that. And everybody else should too. Especially if they're being brought over and dropped in these cities to vote in swing states. It didn't work, but the fact that Tim Walz wants to get illegal citizens an ID is kind of beyond me, and I think that people saw through that. I did. I hope everyone else did, but let's just move on. We're not racist at all. I've asked people to tell me how Donald Trump is racist. No one can do it. I'll sum it up very fast. He won awards from the NAACP. Trey and I have talked about this, for his work in the black communities. He has dated black women. He threw his financial support behind Jesse Jackson when he was going to run for president way back in the day. Donald Trump was adored until he decided to run for president in 2016 or run in 2015. And all of a sudden, these people like Oprah and everybody just turned on him, and he became this enemy, and he's become this fixture. I've never seen anybody attacked like this man. You may not like him. You may think he's done some stuff, and whether with Stormy Daniels and these types of things in the back in the day, and he had beauty pageants and whatever else. And okay, fine. He wasn't a TV star first. He was a businessman first. He wasn't given millions and millions and millions of dollars to start out. He was given $1 million by his father, and he turned it into what it is today. He has had 6 bankruptcies. Everybody likes to throw that out there. Well, guess what? He also has 200 plus successful ventures in business. If you look at those numbers and you look at the statistics and percentages, that's incredible. Almost half of all businesses go into bankruptcy in this country, and 6 out of 200 and something went into bankruptcy. So forgive him for trying to do a Trump University. Forgive him for trying to do some of these other things that didn't quite make it. He's out there trying. He's an innovator. He's an entrepreneur, and that's all he ever does. And maybe this country needs that. This country needs somebody like that when it comes to foreign affairs. We need a businessman. We're getting bent over. We are not energy independent. That's pathetic. We have it all here. There's nothing wrong. Look, he's got one of the most. Elon Musk, that's all Elon's trying to do is do electric cars, and he's figuring out space, and he's doing all these things, and he's an incredible man. And even Elon is saying, look, Donald's the guy. Donald, he gets it. But at the same time, you can't flip a switch and go from renewable energy to non-renewable energy just like that. I mean, or however, it's vice versa. You can't just go all wind and solar and electric just all at once. You have to gradually get there and figure out a way to harness it. And that's what they want to do. And they want to put a lot of time and money and effort into that. So that's fantastic. What's wrong with that? Climate change. What's wrong with wanting to research it? But let's get control of this thing. Let's reel it in a little bit. This Earth is billions of years old, and let's just understand that it's got a pattern. And to be as arrogant as we are, to think that human beings have such an impact on billions of years of the Earth's climate. Let's clean our oceans up. I would do anything to do that. Let's work on pollution. Let's work on these things. But to sit here and climate change, I've been hearing it since I was born. We're going to be underwater in 10 years. And then 10 years later, it's like another 10 years and then another 10 years. Guess what? If the water goes an inch up the East Coast, people will be fine. So calm down. Let's research it, figure out what we can do to make it better, and we'll go from there. These are the types of things that people go, I can't believe you voted for Donald Trump. But what they're forgetting is that right now there are issues that don't make our country what it can be and what it was, how powerful it was, how the people that wanted to be here, everybody wanted to be here. This was the land of opportunity, prosperity. The founding fathers. Yes, there were mistakes that were made, but there was also innovation in what it is today. And to take all that away and sit here and say we're not going to go back. Well, what are we not going to go back to? Being the most powerful country, being the wealthiest country, being all these things. It's ridiculous. Being safer, having solid borders. You cannot have a country without proper borders. You just can't. And so people need to get a grip. You need to understand that it's not about people like myself or any other Trump voters not caring about humans. Oh, you don't care about these poor people at the border. Well, of course I do. It sucks. But it also, you have to have regulations. You have to have law and order. You have to have a authority of law enforcement. You have to do that. And sometimes it sucks, but it's the way that it is. And so just remember that. Donald Trump, look, let's talk about him for a second, and then I'll wrap it up. This guy's pretty funny. Listen to him. If you hate him, you hate him, but try and put yourself in a situation where you don't hate him. Just think about him for a second and just listen to him. Go watch Joe Rogan. I like to call him a colleague. Trey and I do, because he has a podcast, and so do we. He's a little more successful at this point. But go listen to it. He interviewed Donald. He interviewed JD Vance. These guys are down to earth. These guys are regular people. Go listen to them. Listen to Donald, and he still has his thing, and he calls people idiots. And okay, fine, but tell me you haven't called somebody an idiot in your life, and tell me how perfect you are. But listen to something like that. Listen to a conversation with Donald. He's just a kind of guy that he's resilient, and he fights, and my God, he's been. All we know are one or two assassination attempts. I mean, it could be way more. We don't even know. And every day he's got to wake up wondering about that. And it's time to step back and say, all right, the country has spoken. The name Donald Trump affects people in different ways. It makes some people angry. It makes some people scream and cry and spit and all that. And it shouldn't. It's a man who, despite some people think is going to push some policy that's going to make a difference in this country. And he's not going to do all these bad things that what people are saying. I don't understand this. It's a dark day. It's a dystopia. Like, this is ridiculous, people. Get over that. Just stop it, because it's silly. And then you're looking at the vast majority of the country right now and saying that we're all wanting a dystopia. Look, this is a utopia to most of us, and that was proven on Election Day. This is finally somebody that's going to do something with this country. And I haven't bashed Kamala tonight, and I haven't bashed Joe Biden tonight, and it would be easy to do. I haven't bashed Tim Walz tonight. It'd be easy to do. Some of the woke left policies right now are the progressive movement is an issue. And, not to steal content from Joe Rogan, but, he and JD Vance were talking about it like it was a cult. And it's very similar. It's very scary in a way. This woke progressive, it's like you can't do any right by them unless you 100% go along with what they say. Men and women's sports, Tim Walz, tampons in the men's bathroom. Everybody's offended by everything. You can't, cultural appropriation. Trey and I talked about on the Halloween show about costumes. This is stuff that is dangerous for this country when it comes to the division. We're divided because of this kind of bullshit. And so think about it. Take a step back, understand that people like myself, anybody that knows me knows I'm a good guy. Like, I'm not out to all these horrible things I've been called because I voted for a candidate that was going to push a policy for a federal government. If you disagree with me on some of the issues, that's fine. Let's talk about it. Let's have a scotch. Let's talk about it. Let's relax. In fact, I'm going to have a sip here before I end. Let's talk about it. We used to be able to do it. When I was in high school, college, I started voting, and you grew up, you get into your 20s, and none of these elections were like this. It was just like, all right, my candidate lost, or my candidate won. Great. And you moved on, and the next day, someone that disagreed with you, you hung out. Who cares? And the last thing I'll mention before I go, and this is going to spark the debate, which is what I like to do, because we need to talk about it. You cannot sit here and blame Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a scapegoat for the division in this country, in my opinion. Again, I'll repeat, tonight is all me. Trey isn't here. He can't say yes or no or defend himself. But the division started when a guy named Barack Obama came in and said, hey, everybody's a victim. Identity politics. Everybody's a victim. You deserve special treatment. The big bad white man, all holding everybody down. Everybody's a victim. And once that happened, everybody started saying, hey, wow, I don't have to do anything. I'll just cry victim. And it became this big division. And then when Donald Trump came in, who is a polarizing figure, I'm not going to sit here and say he's not, but he came in and it was an opportunity for everybody to say, hey, look at this guy. This guy's divisive. Well, the division had already started, in my opinion. And so it was easy to pin on a guy like Donald Trump. So quit with the division talk and let's talk about it separate from Donald, separate from Barack Obama, separate from politicians. Let's come together and go, what's the issue here? Why are we upset? Are we really upset that Nick Bosa ran out there in his MAGA hat? Really? He's not allowed to vote for a candidate? Are we really upset, the Colin Kaepernick kneeling stuff? I mean, there's a little more to it than the guy running out with a hat. But, why is everybody so divisive on it? If you supported Colin, you were either the best person in the world, or if you didn't support him, you were a complete asshole. And it shouldn't be like that. So I do have I don't see it. I was going to put it near me. I do have a Make America Great Again hat, and I've never worn it. And the reason I've never worn it is because, and I think I mentioned this on a show, is because certain people that believe that hat all of a sudden symbolizes something horrible. And in reality, it's a fucking hat. And it's got a slogan on it that, I don't know, makes sense. Let's make America great again. We were great. And you've turned it into something. I mean, you're talking about teenage kids that have one on, they get attacked. I've seen the videos. They get attacked, like literally physically attacked for having it on. And so I didn't wear it. And that's sad that I can't wear a fucking hat, because some of these weak-minded, woke, progressive liberals want to sit here and believe the false narratives. It's all about policy. And the MAGA movement is about blowing up the establishment. That's what it is. The establishment is both Democrats and Republicans, and the establishment is something that they want to keep wars going. They want to keep these things going. They're lining their pockets with frivolous spending and frivolous, what do you call it? All the spending that they do, and special interest groups. And it's both sides. You see George W. Bush with a picture with Clinton. They were enemies at one point. Barack was in there. It's all one big little family, and Donald Trump is not part of that family, and they hate that. He's going to expose some things, and you'll see. He's already promised to do it, and he didn't do it his first time because he basically said, all right, I won't do that. But after everything he's gone through and witch hunt, he's claimed he's going to expose it. It'll be interesting, so stay tuned. I mean, you're looking at the Diddy list and the Epstein list and all these things, and the JFK files and all these things that he's talking about releasing, kind of showing people's true colors. And I think that hopefully, instead of defending them somehow, people can open up and go, all right, maybe it's not just Donald Trump who's bad. There are a lot of other people that have issues, and we'll go from there. But bottom line, everyone, I'm going to wrap it up here. Hopefully you enjoyed listening, and hopefully you agree with some of it. Maybe you didn't. And if you didn't, we'd love to talk to you. If you're local and you're a friend, come on the show. I want to talk to people that aren't like-minded, that disagree with me. We've had guests on before that I don't agree with. So let me know, and we'll go from there. Hopefully Trey will be back soon, and we'll have a normal Stay in the Gray show. We'll still do some news and aftermath topics that pop up, but I think we want to get back to our roots and talk about some controversial news stories that make you laugh and make you mad. the same time. That's what we're best at, and I think it's what we're going to do. So, again, thanks for listening. Anything you want to like and follow and subscribe and all that stuff, it helps us out. And we're just trying to grow and talk and listen to each other. And we have a good show and a good idea and a lot of good people lined up that want to come on, and we've been growing. So I hope that you enjoy listening, and I hope that you take a deep breath. Anybody that's very upset about Donald Trump being our president-elect, deep breath. We had to do it in 2020. You can do it now, and watch some good things happen. And you know what? If all the things I'm saying don't happen, I'll be the first one to call him out, and I'll be the first one to apologize for putting my trust in this man. But as of now, I do. And anybody that knows me knows that that's a big deal for me to trust. So enjoy watching the ride. It's going to be a lot different, and hopefully you'll be okay with it. I always give a quote, so I'll give one tonight. I was going to give you a headline, but I forgot to do it, so I'll just do the quote tonight. But I think this is the one I was going to do. Let your dreams be bigger than your fears, and your actions louder than your words. I think that sums up kind of everything right now that's going on. Go out there, make a difference, be yourself, do what you want to do the best you can, and contribute to society, and be kind to each other. I enjoyed this. Hopefully you did as well. And we'll see you next time. Trey will be back in his seat, and we'll go from there. Love you guys. Thanks.